It's Mary Muckle, and I've been a member of this community since 1961, you might as well say. And I've listened to a lot of great comments, and I am for legalizing marijuana. There's many reasons for that, that I feel it should be done. I've been actually in the background for over 40 years thinking marijuana should be legalized. It's a shame to think that we're a country that has more young people in prison than any other, any other country, and that we would really help our system by, there wouldn't be young men and women in our juvenile or in our jail systems if we legalize marijuana. And I truly believe that marijuana does not lead to other drugs. In fact, if we did legalize marijuana, maybe there would be the other drug dealers that are making money off of cocaine or all the other drugs, they wouldn't have people begging for that. They would be satisfied with their marijuana because it is a medical thing. It's proven that it's medical. And so I really feel, I just want it to be known that on the books that I am in favor of legalizing marijuana. And not only that, in September I was out in Colorado and I met with some people and they think it's a great thing. It really is not what you all hear. They said it's not only, they aren't seeing the crime rate going up, they're not seeing any more traffic accidents or what have you. What I heard was very positive about legalizing marijuana. And I'll tell you right now, if I was ever said I had cancer seriously, that would be the first thing I would try. I would not try all the drugs that are given to us now. I would go to marijuana to help me. And I have never smoked marijuana in my life. I've never smoked cigarettes in my life. If I have one drink, I'm under the table. So it's not that I'm doing this because I feel I want to use it. I'll probably never use it unless it came down to a health issue. And I want to thank you for all coming down and letting us have our speech, how we feel about legalizing marijuana, and I do hope it goes through. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Lucinda Crothheim. And Mary Jane Sarvis is on deck.
Hi, folks. I want to thank you also for coming down. I have very little to add from what other folks have said. My big concern is that we protect our young people. No matter what you decide, you have to protect our young people. I don't know how you're going to do it when we can't protect them from cigarettes or alcohol or the opiates in the closet. But you have to figure out a way. If you decide to legalize the marijuana, you have to figure out a way to protect our children. One thing that hasn't been brought up, we will be an island in the middle of three states that will have legalized marijuana if you go ahead with this. There's an urban legend that folks are coming to Vermont because our welfare benefits are so high. Can you imagine how the urban legend will be escalated if we are the only state that has the marijuana legal? And the other thing I would like to say is I don't personally have an opinion, but the thing I would ask everybody in the room to please read the Vermont Department of Health's recent study, the report of how marijuana affects your health, how it medically affects everyone, including the children, and as we hit our middle age and older. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mary Jane Sarvis. Matt Monahan is on deck.
Hi.
Hi.
I didn't prepare a statement. I just am a mom who raised my kid in Vermont. She's now 20 and in college in Colorado. So when I visited her, I interviewed, talked to kids who were over 21, under 21. I went to dispensaries. I had a lot of time to kill, to be frank, while she was in class. So I did my own little investigation. And I feel quite secure that Colorado has handled everything quite well, except for the edibles. So I will agree that the edibles are a potential problem and not handled well. As far as raising your child to be aware of the frontal lobe and educational, that's up to parents. I made it very clear to my kid as she was growing up, that you don't touch anything until your frontal lobe, or I'm sure there's more technical terms, are fully developed. And frankly, she's never had a problem. What I liked was the students telling me, oh, by the way, be careful, don't drive, whatever you do. And I said, I'm really not planning on it. And they said, be very careful, they stop. If you get stopped, we've been all stopped. If there's any hint of smell or possible intoxication, you get in deep trouble quickly. It's going quite well there, and I was happy to witness a new building on her campus that came from the taxes, partially, which is paid for it. So I think it's all about good parenting, being aware, and a lot of the things that I've heard today are not the same science that I have been reading for several years investigating this. Colorado has not seen, in fact, the under 18 use of marijuana has gone down dramatically. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Before our next witness, if there's other folks who would like to sign up, our committee assistant, Penny Carpenter, who came down from Waterbury today to be with us, and I forgot to introduce her, and that's my fault. She does a terrific job for our committee. If you'd like to sign up to speak and you haven't already, please go see Penny. Thank you.
Matt, if you hang on just a second, I want to make sure if John Skult is here, he gets a chance. We passed over him before. If not, Matt, you're up. Ben Simons, you're on deck.
Is that Simpson or Simons?
I have Simons.
I'm Matt Monahan. I'm a licensed architect, business owner, and I live in Bennington. Thank you for the opportunity to go on record recommending the state move forward with this process. There's a systemic issue in our society regarding addiction to alcohol, drugs, both illegal and prescription. And I believe legalization following the 5 principles of Governor Shumlin's plan will move the state of Vermont towards a positive solution to our society's epidemic addiction to these dangerous drugs. I have firsthand experience that has shown me that medicinal plant medicine has cured where Western medicine did not. And I commend you with your process, and I believe that you are definitely proceeding in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Ben, is it Simpson? All right. Linda Putney, you're on deck.
Ben was instrumental in helping with the concussion.
Yep.
Thanks, Senator, and thank you all for coming down. There's a lot of appreciation in this room for the effort. So I have just 4 principles here, really. The current policy of prohibition has failed. So the Monitoring the Future survey has shown that throughout its entire history of surveying since the 70s, that availability for marijuana for 12th graders has stayed above 80% that entire time, right? It's easy for kids to get weed. Compare that to cigarettes, where we have new public health programs that have been going into effect using money that has been taken from cigarette companies, right, taxed or litigated, and that has the availability for cigarettes for kids has just dropped below 80% for the first time in 2005, right? Good public health measures can actually affect use, particularly among kids. From 1991 to 2005, the number of high school age kids that deal marijuana has increased 90%. This is during Prohibition, right? In Vermont, we have one of the highest levels of youth use in the country. And enforcement has gone up, not down, since decriminalization, right? There are more tickets written. the police are spending more time on this issue, and we're still not seeing a decline. You've heard many claims about health effects. The science is not in on these. Read the RAND report, it makes that very clear. It says this but that, the whole time. So take those with a healthy dose of skepticism. The public health benefits of regulation and taxation of marijuana will, I believe, outweigh the public health costs of increased use, and we can expect increased use, particularly among adults. With effective regulations, like the kind that you're seeing coming out of the health department study that just came out the other day, or the Vermont Medical Association report that just came out, if you follow those guidelines and those recommendations, I believe that we'll end up with a positive health outcome. Anti-smoking campaigns have shown this, like I said, with the cigarette availability data metric. Money can be invested, these tax monies can be invested in stronger enforcement and can be directed towards research that will help us actually understand the health impacts and public safety impacts of marijuana. And we really, really need, and you all know this better than anybody, more treatment availability particularly for opiates and alcohol. Those tax monies that come from taxing something you don't like, marijuana, can be used to fund treatment programs that are direly needed in the state. The alternative is more of the same, more enforcement that doesn't work, right? Or regulate and use those monies to actually positively affect public health. Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda Putney, Richard Dundas is on deck.
Thank you. A few years ago, my nephew, who lived in New York City, came up to live with us. And he was a student at Community College of Vermont, just starting college. And he took an English class there where he had to write a position paper. So he chose the topic of legalization of marijuana because he wanted to do something that he thought was easy. It was something that he thought, oh, this will be cinchy, wise guy that he was. So he started looking for research on it and was having a tough time. He brought in what he had come up with to his instructor, his teacher, and she said, no, you can't use this. This is like a lobbying from a lobby organization or something like that. And so he had to find really, really good data to support legalization, and he could not find it. He was just going crazy. So I tried to help him. Now, I'm a retired teacher, so I know how to do research, and I had a real tough time myself trying to find good evidence for legalization of marijuana. So he finally handed in his paper, but his last remark was, gee, I should have chosen the other side. So, but I also wanted to say that within the last 2 months, somehow I came across, I'm not exactly sure where, this booklet called Drugs, Brains, and Behavior, The Science of Addiction. It's put out by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And this particular pamphlet was revised in 2014, July 2014. It's an excellent pamphlet, talks about how drugs can cause addiction, and it gives all kinds of information and tablets on what it does to the brain. But I'm going to, actually I'm going to give you this pamphlet. You have it. Okay, then I'm going to read what it says. Marijuana is the most commonly abused illegal substance. This drug impairs short-term memory and learning, the ability to focus attention and coordination. It also increases heart rate, can harm the lungs, and can increase the risk of psychosis in those with an underlying vulnerability. Thank you.